Boundary Road, who apparently has been there for 9 years now.
Yes. So those individuals, those people, charcoal sellers, this who know that if they don't do it, their children will not eat. We must also be celebrating them.
Yes,
because
that's
in
true.
one way or the other, they are also contributing their quota to the development of this country. But we have always assumed that those of us who wear tie, sit in banks, work in the public sector and so on, they are building this nation. For all you know, they are milking this nation.
Speaking of which, Sunday, which is May 2nd, is my big brother's birthday, so I'd want to wish him a happy birthday in advance. Yeah, I know he's watching.
And
so
if you don't do it, they will tell you that, so you didn't
yes.
So
yes, Brad Prince, happy birthday to you. And thank you for taking care of me as much as you have done. No one has, had my back like you have. And I love you so much. You know that. Hey, why are you looking at me like that, Eric?
Okay, I was looking at the eyelashes.
Leave me alone. Okay. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll delve into our newspaper headlines. So please stay tuned.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural.
Welcome back to the morning updates. Today, if you are a man and you have been struggling in bed, you might want to stay to the end of the program because we will be having a solution for you. Also, if you're a woman and you've lost your confidence because there is order somewhere, the guy took it off and ran away, so you've lost your confidence, please stay tuned because we have a solution for you as well. Now, we'll be delving into our newspapers, and Esla Owusu is making interesting revelations about lesbianism. Eric, I have the Inquisitor, I have Herald, I have Ghanaian Times, and as always, the Chronicle.
Daily Graphic, Michael Dokosi's paper, Daily Post, and Business and Financial Times.
Okay.
Today we didn't get dispatch.
Yes.
Itankuma will be angry with you.
It wasn't me.
Okay, so will you start
his
with
paper wasn't yes, I'll start with the Inquisitor. Now it says that 2013 skeleton at Boost unwrapped. Now Demon Committee reports that has been hidden for 8 years apparently is out. That tells you that there is nothing that can be hidden under the sun. Also, Ken fights in team over state land, whereas court throws out Techiman South and DC. Also, Kojo Opoku Paris smear campaign, and okay, this is advert, so I'll let that one pass. But also, this is something that I'm sure a lot of people have been waiting for. It says that Ghana to receive 300,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine this week. So if you have been anticipating, then there is an answer for you. Do you want to start yours or should I continue?
Okay, so let me do the Daily Graphic front page. The big story is on Galamsey. Regional ministers lead Galamsey fight. Government decentralizes action. And we have World Converges on Namibia for Press Freedom Day. These are the big stories I've chosen on the front page of the Daily Graphic. The back page, high yield hybrid maize seed introduced and could produce 5 times more. That's good news. And then there's some controversy on page 17 of the Daily Graphic. Dr. Ibn Chamba says Ghana must build trust in institutions. I see the controversy here, whether it is those working in the institutions who must help Ghanaians to build trust in them, or we should just build trust, keke. Because if people work for institutions, they allow themselves to be manipulated, and those in there will not complain because they want to protect them. You and I pay them the enjoyment yes, the enjoyment they are enjoying. Makana, okay. How do you trust such institutions? Look at Shraj, look at EC, look at all the other institutions. If people head those institutions, work for those institutions, how will the Ghanaian trust those institutions?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I don't have
open question.
I don't have an answer.
What makes you trust somebody?
For me, is honesty, openness, loyalty, all of these things.
How do you determine that? Is it an action on the side of the person, or you just trust the person?
No.
So I believe that this call by
so they have to be honest with us
Ibn Chambers is flat. You don't grab a microphone and assume that yours is to just tell the people that trust institutions. When you know, when Ibn Chambers sitting there knows that many of the institutions are manipulated by government. When he was a minister of state, he knows what went on during his regime. And so if he wants us to trust institutions, he must speak to the institutions. That is what I see as sincerity in terms of your advocacy to make issues or things done the right way. But if you play around it, trust institutions.
We can't just
for me,
trust is
it's flat. I don't see the strength in this, and so I disagree with him. He should speak the truth by telling those institutions, calling the leaders in the face and tell them that the Ghanaian or the poor villager who's sweating because he's being taxed along the chain, who is paying you, please make them happy. Let us build Ghana and therefore do the right things. At least name and shame, call people and let the public know that they are doing things wrong. That makes me feel like that is a bold leader. But just trust the institutions, for me, won't solve the problem.
Yes, so please,
that's all I have in the Daily Graphic newspaper.
So those boys who have been telling us, oh, trust me, baby. No, sweetheart, trust is earned. Now, I have a riddle for you today. So, riddle. I used to practice lesbianism when I was in high school. Who am I? Eric, do you want to answer that?
I don't know.
Well, it is Honorable Esla Owusu. She is confessing. It says on the front page of the Herald that minister confesses to lesbianism and advises LGBTQ to operate secretly.
Is that how it was captured?
So basically, she was saying that when she was in high school, she used to practice that when she was exploring her sexuality. Yeah, that's what she was. I couldn't finish reading the story because we had to start the show. I think that a lot of people may have such history. I think so. Because, look,
that's all you think about.
No, that's not. Why do you mean that's all I think about?
A simple question.
What
do you make of what the minister is openly telling the public? When she knows the position of Ghanaians, she knows the position of the president who appointed her.
Let's not throw her under the bus yet.
She's a member of parliament, and she knows.
Let's not throw her under.
As member of parliament, what she must do as a leader of this country is to speak a language that will inform, educate, and influence people the right way. If that is how she will speak.
Okay. So it says you are exploring your sexuality.
I am disappointed.
So you do all kinds of. He's saying that she's happy. There wasn't social media, so hers was covered, and so it's not on her record. But I mean, talking about it now, and it's being reported, is it not on her record?
I think she appeared on, I think, Star Chat.
Yes, Star Chat.
Nanaba Anamwa. And so the publications are coming out of the conversation.
Yes.
She may have been sincere, but I believe that knowing on the back of her mind, she must know the implication of some of the comments you make. So because you know this is very sensitive, and because of you Ghanaians looking at you as an icon, when you go to that public space, it's not everything that you say. Do you know my secret? If I want to tell you my secrets today, you'll be surprised. Yesterday
you surprised me. I think we'll keep your secrets as secret. I think today Esla's own is enough. I'm not that is that Akufo-Addo roasted over 94 district and regional hospitals fiasco. And also APEC congratulates John Kuma as a deputy finance minister designate. I guess congratulations may be in order soon. Now you can do your paper.
Okay, so let me do the Daily Post. On the front page, lectures fume up politicization of the event, and Kokobo trial, Opuni file submission of no case. It comes with a picture of Dr. Stephen Opuni. So front page of the Daily Post newspaper. Quick one, Business and Financial Times. Compensate rice farmers at Tamale landfill site. And broadening the tax base should target the new economy. And it comes with a picture of Seth Tekpe. So that's it on the front page of the Business and Financial Times, Abna.
All right. Oh, okay. So I'm going to do the Ghanaian Times. It says here that 340 suspects in police grip. This this exercise was done around Kaswa. Also, Bafo Seyakoto must be honored, whereas MPs raise red flag over water quality around landfill sites. Now, this also says be aggressive in multimedia space, coming from Minister advising the New Times Corporation. On the back page, however, it says that barrier mutual stretch to be 6 lanes. This is to ease congestion on the Accra Aflao. You say Aflao
service.
Okay.
Now it's for those who travel a lot, especially those who are going to red zone countries with I'll call it abnormal cases of COVID-19. It says only test results or certificates bearing trusted travel or biomass codes will be considered valid for travel out of Ghana. Sign up for accounts on trustedtravel.panobios.org with the same email address and mobile numbers provided to laboratories during testing. All arriving passengers who test negative for COVID at the airport are encouraged to self-isolate for 10 days, and it goes on and on. I think there's a lot of development.
Can you put the site there out again? It wasn't very clear when you read it.
Okay, Jenna Kaya.
Hey, Eric.
I saw some words I'm not comfortable with.
A link anyway.
Go to the second itemized, yes, somewhere there.
The Frontier Healthcare Services recently informed officials to search. Okay, sign up for accounts on trustedtravel.panabios.org. It's PANABIOS.org.
We have some 5 minutes to 7.
Okay.
So unfortunately, we couldn't ask people to call to tell us what they feel about May Day. But the center spread of the Daily Graphic has a lot about May Day. So you see the picture of Kwame Nkrumah. You see when Ghana actually marked May Day for the first time. And let me read a paragraph which has been highlighted. It says Ghanaian workers observed their first May Day in 1960, and Ghana's first president, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, was declared the first #1 worker and doctored with a May Day award by the Trades Union Congress. I never knew this, that the first time we marked May Day was in 1960. It talks about Labor Day around the world, U.S. Labor Day, history of Labor Day, establishing the day, when is Labor Day, Ghana's first president, and dissolution of the TUC. So it's a lot of history mixed with information that you can associate with the day. That's all I have.
That's all you have. Okay. On page 3 of the Ghanaian Times is actually reporting that 2 boys drowned in a Shaiman irrigation dam. Now, also 4 persons have been remanded for allegedly robbing driver of vehicle. Now, yesterday, as soon as I entered my house, thanks to my mother, we were constantly listening to her. So yeah, I had a news item where they said armed robbers attacked a car owner, took his keys and took his money and ran away with it as well. And today I'm seeing this here. So it's becoming something that needs to be looked at. Also, the Chronicle says Amidu backs over nomination of new special prosecutor, whereas outcome of my suit ends electoral processes. This is coming from John Mahama. Whereas Kron, yeah, just to say.
Wisdom can help me.
It says Kron Merade Agrada dumps a horse whisk for the Bible. Wisdom Hedajome is on standby with the news.
peace of mind is very essential in your journey to success. For Akwesi Papa, peace of mind means having a proper covering over his family. Literally. For Araba, aka Injection Mama, it's about having the funds to complete her advanced nursing course. And as for Corporal Odami, it's as simple as reporting on time for his shifts. Sometimes all you need is a simple push. At Needs Microfinance, we have tailor-made loan packages for salaried workers under the Controller General's Department. With the low interest rate and quick wahala-free process, you are guaranteed of a timely solution to get back that peace of mind, literally in 30 minutes. Needs Microfinance, growing with you.
I love makeup. Applying it gives me so much joy. But when it's time to take it off, nothing does the job quite like the Black Secret makeup wipes. When I go somewhere and I feel really sweaty, I take my Black Secret wipe and I use it on my face. It picks me up and I don't look as tired as I did when I walked in.
Before I work on a client's face, I like to go over it with Black Secret makeup wipes to make sure the face is clean. It doesn't leave the face dry and tight, but it keeps it soft and moisturized.
Wipes say your bodo.
Bakope, and it gets the job done. Or baby, and the smell makes the experience even better.
And in the next quarter hour, Speaker of Parliament reaffirms his commitment to build VNDC as the party's wing of professionals brainstorm on reorganization strategies. This morning, we shall hear him and former President John Mahama, who also addressed the event. Occupy Saglemi Housing Project gathers momentum as the Tenants Association of Ghana vows to lead campaign against all abandoned housing projects across the country. And later, we'll tell you how to choose coming up. My name is Wisdom Hedejime. Let's begin the stories from the camp of the NDC, where the professionals wing of the party has launched a massive project aimed at improving the fortunes of the party following the painful loss of the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections. Now, yesterday, the caucus met at the party's headquarters for the brainstorming session, which the party's reorganizations and how to prevent foes within from inciting divisions. Now, the event was attended by NDC General Secretary Johnson Asidu Nketia, National Chairman Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, the Minority Caucus, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin, and former President John Dramani Mahama. Speaker Alban Bagbin reaffirmed his avowed support and readiness to help build the NDC into a formidable party that will stand the test of time.
Colleagues, all the above calls for reforms and a change in how we see and do things. It calls for discipline and a dramatic change of attitude, particularly our commitment and loyalty to the party. Let us, on this memorable first conference of the regional presidents of the Professional Forum, reactivate our sense of loyalty to the party and confidence in its leadership. Let us believe in ourselves. Let us remind ourselves that our loyalty to the party does not lie in the pitch of our voices on air, but rather in the strength of our discipline, our service to the party, and our respect for one another. In short, let us have a common destiny. And as you all know, our strength definitely lies in our unity. With this, I say, long live Professional Forum, long live the NDC, and long live Mother Ghana. I thank you all for listening.
Now, former President John Mahama, whose address also touched briefly on some challenges during the 2020 general elections, spoke on the need for all to respect the various wings of the party and their contributions.
Good things that Pro Forum has done is to increase the confidence of our professional groups in terms of being identified as being proud members of the NDC. Before Pro Forum, we have a lot of people who support the NDC, but they hide under the covers and are not willing to show their faces as supporters of NDC. Of course, you can understand why. With opponents who are so vindictive, I mean, for many of them who are still in service, I mean, showing their faces is often dangerous. It's not the same when NDC is in power. I mean, people very, freely identify with the MPP when NDC is in power, and they don't suffer any adverse consequences for it. Not the same when they are in power. There's a lot of vindictive, hunting down of people who are believed to be NDC and taking them out of job. So this confidence and pride is making more people join the Pro Forum, and it's a very good thing.
Now, the women's wing of the party has also been organizing another series of activities as part of efforts to reorganize the party for the next general elections. Now, let's talk about housing, because the Tenants Association of Ghana has taken over the fight to power pressure on government to either allocate the completed Sanglemi houses or brace itself for a clash between angry Ghanaians who are seeking accommodation. Now, the association, which intends to facilitate the hashtag Occupy Sanglemi House campaign, tells TVX Xyz News with their over 15 million members, they are now ready to demand their rights. The following report captures what revived the debate.
Houses will break. All the windows will break. Can you imagine? Look at the noise. Very, very bad. Very, very bad. And we are complaining accommodation. And people are crying, looking for places to sleep. And we have wasted this property. This is our taxpayers' money. It doesn't belong to any party. It's not for NDC, it's not for MPP, it's not for APC. It's for the taxpayers. We pay taxes to build this. And we are wasting it. And we sit down and go and borrow money. And this is what we do with the money borrowed. Just for some people to make money, and then we waste it here. This is it. There's no end. We can't even access the entrance. We can even access the entrance.
This is the Sanglemi Housing Project site near Ada on the Pram Aflao Highway. The renewed public debate today was triggered by founder and former presidential candidate of the All People's Congress, Hassan Ayarege's defiant visit to the project site. Phase 1 of the $200 million project, which was initially for 5,000 housing units, was completed over 4 years ago. The 1,389 units which are ready for occupancy consists of 2- and 3-bedroom houses and 1 house. Unfortunately, none has been allocated. The Nana Akufo-Addo-led government, which suspects procurement breaches and inflated costs, has been investigating this since 2018. But ironically, the Minister for Works and Housing during Nana Akufo-Addo's first term was Samuel Atachia, MP for Ebuakwa South, who was full of praise when the Parliamentary Select Committee toured that site before the December 2016 elections.
The speed, the beauty of what you've produced, your sense of infrastructure and the rest of them are just very right. Some people want to see the use of local material, brick and tar, and the rest of them. These are matters that you can also think through.
I think we're all happy that we were able to deliver within a very short period of time, and we'll be going into the second phase in the next 6 months to continue building what we hope would be another 1,500 units.
Atachia no more occupies the office, but the new Minister for Works and Housing, Francis Asenso-Boakye, who blames the neglect on corruption, now says government will need $32 million to complete the project.
Some work has been done, but a lot more work has to be done. We have invested close to 200 million into this project, and this is where we are. The project, I believe, was a great idea, but the conception, the design, and the implementation did not go well at all.
Angry Ghanaians have since launched the hashtag Occupy Sanglemi Houses campaign. The Tenants Association of Ghana says it will lead this initiative. General Secretary Frederick Opoku spoke to Morning Update on TV XYZ yesterday.
Now we are also, employing the rest, those who are coming. They should take a cue from this. That the tenant union and the tenants in Ghana are now weak. I can assure Ghanaians. I can assure the politicians. Now we will go to market by market. Market by market, station by station, choba by choba, corner by corner. Every corner you will be there to let them know that this government is not there for our interest.
Well, a cross-section of Ghanaians who spoke to TVXYZ News could not believe the trend of events.
Project we did here, polyclinic. Yeah, the grow of the commodore for the under by the not start. Yeah, be that one no for the this. It be politics. If they come out, he go speak. Oh, I go do this. I go do this. By that he go chair before that he go start.
Our leaders we think well, and then I can say Legon Hospital was built by NDC Power, NDC. But I hear some rumors sometimes ago. Akufo-Addo was saying that hospital is not good. But when the COVID come to the world, that hospital is very good. They make a noise in Ghana here concerning the end this time. But now, I think when they come power, they'll do much more than NDC. But they are down. They're not doing anything at all.
Personally, for me, I strongly believe that national resources are put into every government project, and it would be appropriate to see continuation regardless of the change in government, whoever is coming in. Because if the resources are stuck and the project is not completed, then the goal or the purpose for which that project was set to achieve hasn't been realized. And who then suffers for it? As the citizens, because we are the taxpayers. So it will definitely be appropriate if we can have continuity in any project that the government starts.
Let's turn our attention to crime. 2 petty offenders who were jailed for 12 months have been released from prison as a result of efforts by the Commonwealth and the other was incarcerated for stealing a television set. Now, I followed them yesterday and filed this report. The offenses are minor offenses that are encountered on daily basis. They include being a rogue or a vagabond, loitering, hawking, prostitution, failure to pay debt, and disobedience to parents. In other jurisdictions, petty offences may include pilfering and other forms of stealing associated with poverty. At the African Commission on Human and People's Rights 68th Ordinary Session, the Petty Offences Poverty is Not a Crime campaign called on the special repertoire on prisons, conditions of definition and policing in Africa to review.
If you don't know, I follow. I come here, James Camp Prison.
You said you stole a television. Who was it for?
My auntie. And I go stay in flat screen. But that time she was sleeping at the room inside. Where I opened the door, you know here, where I took the television. But at the time where I removed from the room inside, and I come out, something fall down. When you hear, you wake up, when you shouting. Then they follow me, they come catch me.
Did they beat you up?
And they beat me up. They beat me. They take me to.
But I'm going to say 12 months. Madam for me the car say, my mother then, oh, scar no, tienko fa. Lamp pass, miss me there, miss me dinner, no go fire. Go first, scar no.
Wing.
Papa do, no,
it's your mammy or infant.
Mamma, or call.
Nti si afia ukokwa. Nti wana de ukokwa, wana de bekofie.
Pacha ndi abise. Se de ori nyambe. So net ma ya abo ama wet ma ko druko ho no.
Nti si ukofie de na akwakoye, obeko school bi okosu ejuma na akoye den.
Pacha si ukofie die, ukokosi ejuma. So ka tin nyama mo hwe se please no pa 4:30 ni abom se koda. E don e kasa kire yen. E fie so akoko bom ya mo se ade ache. E prison de don e kasa kire. Ti bi no ka kire nyama so obi anya na dwi please bo so onya de no pa ndi. Enquiry so no ohu animu wom. E mo chemi no.
Meanwhile, the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative is advocating for the decriminalization of petty offences. Now, Director of CHRI Africa, Mina Mensah, tells TVX was a news it will work closely with the prison service to support the poor still languishing in jail for lack of non-custodial sentences for petty offences. Now, she's also commended the police service and the Ghana prison services for their efforts.
I think was sentenced because he could not pay 360 Ghana cedis. He could not, so that's the reason why he was sentenced. And the other, because he could not pay, I think, 1,200 cedis. I mean, is it really worth it? We are not saying that when people commit crimes, they should not be punished for it. But can we find alternative ways of dealing with that? At least we are looking at a minimum of 60. But it depends on the prison authorities. We have asked them for a list of people who have fines of less than 1,000 Ghana cedis or up to 1,000 Ghana cedis. And we are waiting for the list. So here we had only 2 of such people. We are doing this all over the country. We've asked for prisons for all over from Ashanti region, from Eastern region, Central, for Volta. We've asked for the list. So as and when we get the numbers, and then we go and pay the fines. As we speak, we've paid. And then 8 from Kumasi Central Prison that we've also paid the fines for. So we are waiting for the prison authorities to confirm that their warrants have arrived so that we can go and then get those people also out.
And that's all we have time for this morning. But just so you may know, tomorrow the taxes in the 2021 budget is taking effect, and so prepare. Good morning.
If I cry na menyisika, edia ye mefui.
Ehifa pa na menya bosia edia tre medwuma yimu.
Kai kra mabre menya bosia ato taxi fufu. Suhum Rural Bank.
Suhum Rural Bank.
Yemamu akwa baba Suhum Rural Bank. Ye won hyehyɛ ahodo bi te sɛ dwadifo abosia, ekoko abosia, susu account. And that's all our savings account. Me bada chain savings account. And then the keka home. Suhum Rural Bank was 034229186. Now one so to miaka say.
Suhum Rural Bank. Ama ene mayeka una.
Suhum Rural Bank. Enti me pa minie.
Suhum Rural Bank, growing our heritage.
Welcome to Auto Check Vehicle Diagnostic and Licensing Center.
I hear my car can be checked here without going to so many hour crap.
Sure.
Check, auto checks, check, auto checks, check.
Emission, check,
auto checks.
Alignment, check.
Brakes, check. Visit Auto Checks at Koforidua Aquadum Road for the roadworthiness of your vehicle, from saloon cars to heavy-duty industrial vehicles. Madam, your car is now ready for the road.
Thank you so much.
Auto Checks.
Auto Checks. Check.
Auto Checks. your safety our priority. Check, auto checks.
We are one man short. Should we invite him?
Yes.
It be old cargo.
Can I join you guys?
Yeah.
Always drink fresh, natural, mix, mineral, water.
Still got it. Always keep hydrated naturally. That's my secret.
Manufactured with the primary aim of preserving nature's finest minerals necessary for a healthy mind and body. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural.
Welcome back. This is TV XYZ. This is Xyz TV. Just call a friend. Send us your text messages on 0556 999 999. Wanda Madielo is here with me in the studio. Good morning.
I'm very good. Good morning.
You look tired.
Not exactly. It's been a very eventful week. So, but I'm fine. I'm good.
So he's representing the NDC. This morning, a lot of conversations. Conversation is on the table. But first, tomorrow is Workers' Day.
Yeah.
Daily Graphic has done a piece which looks at the historical background of Workers' Day. And so I just called for the paper. And if you look at the center spread, it talks about how it started in Ghana and how we have come, how far we have come. But obviously, we all know what May Day is, Workers' Day, generally. Worker welfare, you look at productivity, and you look at how workers can use their strength as one body to advocate for good governance. Do you think that the average Ghanaian worker is doing that much, or paying is due to help build this nation?
Well, Senior Eric, I think this is a very, very difficult question to ask, depending on what angle you look at it from. The history of work and work ethics and productivity and all that with the Ghanaian or the African has always been brought to question about our commitment to work values and all that. And so I don't know how to dissect, but let me just share my thoughts on a few of the issues. I think that culturally, our work ethics have not been up, notch. Why? Because many of the times we have been cloned into I work from Monday to Friday and the rest of the day is over. Growing up many years ago, if you live anywhere close to Tema, you would understand what work ethics, really is, what time people go to work. By 4 a.m. you see a lot of buses, in town picking people to work at 4 a.m. And then they are coming back around 2. Another set is going 2 o'clock, coming back around 10 p.m. Then another set is going 10 p.m., coming 6 in the morning. You see that there is that urgency and the need for work and productivity. And so it will be difficult for you to work in such an environment and not imbibe the right ethics of work. Today you have businessmen who are self-employed, but they are only self-employed to the extent that they wake up in the morning and they don't have to rush through traffic. And you ask them and they are like, oh, well, it's my own business. I can go there anytime I want. And that's not the reason why.
There's a school of thought that anytime we celebrate Workers' Day, it becomes a platform for long speeches and maybe calls for on government to do anything that will satisfy workers. But I don't see the leadership of the workers, that's the worker unions, actually advocating or speaking to their own about lack of productivity. I am putting on the spot the Ghana Civil Service, or you look at those in the public sector, there's the perception that there's a lot of laxity in the public sector. And it's a drain on the public purse, because you go to many of the offices, staffing is beyond the norm, and they have become so protective that even after we looked at the public sector reforms, Fair Wages and Salary Commission came with what we saw as remuneration for workers. 10, 15 years after that, we have not seen any drastic change in attitude towards work, and we have to pay them on monthly basis because it looks as if it's a contractual agreement. Once you go in, that is all. Nobody cares. They are there just attending school. I don't know your opinion on that.
I agree entirely, but I think that part of the problem with the worker unions have been, agitations and being aggrieved over work environment, and you want to say remunerations also not up to speed or up to standard, and so they have been caught in that rights, asking and all that. But the main problem, like you said, political leadership has failed us. Now, as we speak today, there's a lot of traffic. I've had to leave home 5 o'clock to make Osu at 7. I mean, really, that can be 2 hours in traffic for a journey of about only 30-something kilometers or so, 28 kilometers or so. That is unrealistic. Now, why is some of these things happening? I remember in the last elections, in the NDC manifesto, one of the things the Mahama promised, which I was very enthused about, was that we were going to allow people to work more hours. And more hours doesn't mean that an individual stay in the office for more hours. For instance, we gave an example of DVLA, we gave an example of passport officer. People should be able to go to work
even in the construction industry. People have to work 24 hours.
People should be able to go to the work in the morning and close at 2 o'clock. Another set is going 2 o'clock and closing 10 p.m. So we spread out the traffic. 1, 2, productivity increases immediately, because all those staff that you see as people who are not engaged in any form or shape, however being paid, and they have become a drain on the public purse, would have found something doing. Many of the places that are overstaffed, MPA, BOST, and all those companies that are politically manipulated to employ so much, they are wasting so much of the taxpayers' money because productivity has not been stretched, and they have not been allowed to work overtime or work within a certain structure. So everybody goes to work in the morning at 8 o'clock. There are no desks or seats available. Some are hanging around. Some are doing their own thing. Some don't even come to work at all. And then eventually they are paid. So I think that it will need a government. Government needs to intervene. How do you intervene? For instance, during the again under the NDC, when we had the bus transit terminal or whatever you call it,
a bus rapid transit system, BRT.
BRT system. The agenda was to spread out the traffic.
Okay, I'll talk to you. I have one of the worker union leaders with us, General Agricultural Workers Union, Edward Karuwe, is on the line. Edward, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yeah, happy birthday in advance. Happy Workers' Day in advance.
Of course, I understand. It's an important day for us. And once you say happy birthday, I know that you mean that we first May.
Yes.
So I accept it, and my regards to your other guests. I listen to very pungent.
Wanda Madilo, yeah.
The issues, yeah. That's great.
Okay, so now what I deliberately put on the spot for discussion is about how we want to see our workers becoming more productive. There's the school of thought that those who are self-employed or working in the private sector appear to be more productive than our colleagues in the public sector. Long after the public sector reforms and the introduction of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, which was supposed to see better pay for good job done to make it worth it, we haven't gone that far. What really could be the problem today?
Well, I think it's important that this topic is brought for discussion because production and productivity is critical. And we need to know whether or not we in Ghana, we are productive, and whether our production is at a level comparable with other labor force in other countries and so on. those who have traveled outside the country, have worked in Europe, America, somewhere, will certainly say that labor productivity here is low. In that case, it then means that if labor productivity is low, and you link it to the cost of labor, you may therefore say that cost of labor sometimes in some areas is also high. Now, if you look at our public sector and the statement comparison that in the private sector, it appears the labor force there is more productive than the public sector. Yes, to some extent it is true, because, production has to do with an organized, system at the workplace. For instance, if you take 2 or 3 workers in the workplace, and one has to eat at, say that I want to take my lunch at 10 o'clock. Another one says that, for me, I like taking my lunch at 2 o'clock. The workplace rules will say that, look, 12 o'clock, everybody should go on break. And we pop at 1:30. Now the one who thinks that he or she must have his lunch or her lunch at 10 o'clock will now know that you cannot do that at the workplace. So it brings about uniformity, it brings about discipline. I know, and there must be rules to bring about discipline. Now, if you look at our public sector, because of the way our public sector has been organized over the years, and the way we have failed to ensure that rules are complied with, it will lead to low productivity in the public sector in some of in some areas. So that in the private sector, because the private sector person knows very well that if he or she does not produce, the business will not be able to even meet its production, break even, and then make profit. They will ensure that the workers work. If you violate those rules, they will display you. But in the public sector, look, we are all aware. We don't need to run away. People come and they choose who they want to work with. If you're a public official and you have been posted to a particular department as the boss, why should you say that those officers there or those workers there, you cannot work with them, and that you import your own worker to come and be your secretary, to come and be this? They're supposed to be professionals. The system is to make everybody be professionals. You find them come to bloat the whole particular unit in the public sector with people who do not have work to do. So all these things actually, in my view, I agree to a large extent with the view that there's low productivity in the public sector.
Okay, so Edward, how do we manage this going forward? Let's be frank. We know, as you have just also alluded to, that maybe we have over-bloated workforce in the public sector, because you go to many offices, they are just relaxing, enjoying free AC, charging their phones, watching movies, or maybe playing with their computers. It's a reality. And as you said, you go to other same public sector offices, you see people actually busy at work. When I go to Kolebu, for example, I realize that these are nurses who understand why they are there. But we have people who are heading these institutions. They have almost become protective. So when government or any government should decide that let's go to a certain ministry or a certain department or agency and ask staff to go home, let's make them redundant, pay them off, let's give them that encouragement, train them to set up their own businesses and save that income and make the few remain much more productive. You know that TUC will come at government's truth. You have other workers' union, and therefore the people involved would then conclude that they don't have the state at heart.
Yes, certainly. If government goes that use that approach, we will come on them. You see, it is an outmoded approach to increasing productivity and ensuring discipline at the workplace. Look, whenever businesses are facing challenges, the traditional approach is to cut down costs, and to cut down costs is to cut down labor. Labor sometimes is not the problem. I'm not saying all the times though, because apart from the fact that I'm working at the TUC, and my background, professional background, studies and so on, it makes sense to also understand the economy. I'm an economist and now doing law. I don't think that I would say that I don't understand the economy and the rest, just because I'm a union leader.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that, you see, certain approaches are outmoded. It's not about layoffs. For instance, when we are talking about discipline at the workplace, it is very, very easy. Very, very easy to institute discipline. One, every worker has got a supervisor. You know, there are supervisors, there are people that pay to supervise. When people do not come to work, let's take the best example. In Ghana here, what you need to get your daily pay is to just report to work. Whether you work or not, once you have reported to work, you get your daily pay. It's now even going beyond that. There are some people who will not even report to work, and yet they still get their daily pay.
Or they are there and attending school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That the principle is, once you appoint, you report at the workplace. Whether you work or you don't work, whatever you do, you get your daily pay. You know, that we need to go beyond that. It is one of the first things. You get to workplace on time. Who makes sure that the workers get to work on time? When people coming late, who is supposed to ensure that they come at the right time? When people take their bags and leave the office before time, 2 o'clock, when they go online, they don't come back to work. Who's supervising that? You don't blame that worker. For me, that would be the wrong place. It's just like blaming where you are falling and not blaming where you have hit your foot. You should blame the supervisor. You have been paid to make sure people are at work. Because you have not done your work, please, you are fired. Or you'll be fired.
Okay, so Edward, strong points there, sincere commentary. Before you go, maybe within a minute, I want you to send a message to Ghanaian farmers, because you are the General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union. Farmers across the country, those in the production chain as far as agriculture is concerned. Brief message to everybody.
Well, Ghana is seriously challenged for obvious reasons. Today, everything about our challenges are put on COVID. But even before COVID, the country was seriously challenged. COVID has only come to compound our problems, but it's also because of the way we did not organize our economy well. That's why we had the full impact of COVID on us. Nevertheless, in the midst of all this, farmers continue to produce to feed our population and to get our economy going. We want to encourage them as a union to continue to know that this country depends on agriculture. And no matter the neglect, no matter the pain farmers have in view of the fact that they are not being treated well by government agencies and government itself, they should never relent, because it is not only about us today, but the future of this country still depends largely on agriculture.
Okay.
So I would urge them on this May Day that we salute them, and that's why we are marking May Day, and that they should rise up to every challenge and continue to produce to feed the population of this country.
Thank you very much. Edward Karowe is the General Secretary of the General Agriculture Workers Union. Enjoy your day, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so Wanda, nice submission there, and he talks about supervision and not the worker. What do you make of that?
I think that, and we have always been saying this, if you talk about the natural environment living in Ghana, one of the things we say is that Ghanaians, we are good at developing things, but we're not good at maintenance. Maintenance is a sub-department under monitoring and evaluation. And we don't do that. We don't appraise workers. We don't have a system to check it to deliver. So what we have in most organizations, like a research and development department, one of those departments is to ensure that workers are trained every now and then, so their productivity is encouraged or enhanced, or whatever you want to call it. We also ensure that their welfare is taken care of, so they can give up their best, and also create a better, safe working environment for your workers. And I think that that's where, you know, the government institutions that you mentioned seem to be failing. There are people who have, you know, been employed maybe in the local government or the public service or any other department of state and have never gone on any training, and they've been on the job for 20 years, 10 years. But then you are rusty. You have gone rusted. And you can't deliver, you can't give up your best, and you still have a long way to go. And that's where my problem is. Monitoring and evaluation is a key thing that all government agencies and departments should continue doing every now and then. Spend a lot of money training your workers, spend a lot of money opening more avenues for work. Like I said, I don't understand why DVLA shouldn't work on Saturday, Sunday, or even work in the evening. For what? What is the explanation that you can't work on such times? What is the explanation that passport office can't work up to, say, 10 p.m.? What's the explanation? And then you have people locked up in their office in the morning. By 5 o'clock, they are out of the place. And then you have to go back and come back again, doing nothing. And yet, these people are being paid. So, indeed, it will be a good thing if we can get our department and agencies to begin to develop more avenues for work, rather than keep themselves in, for instance, a company like MPA, Bost. I don't know why they cannot work overnight.
There's a lot. I don't know your opinion. 0556 999 999. Send us your text messages. I'll be back again.
Who seated upon him throne in his kingdom, guidance and protection for Ryman, Jason of Zanoja. 1,000 may fall at my left hand side, 10,000 at my right hand side too. And can't pull me down, and can't bring my low, 'cause I'm an African dreadlocks man. I'm an African lion from Para. Yeah, fashioned against us shall prosper. Yeah. So I refute every tongue that accuses I in judgment. No. Jah is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?
Welcome back. This is TV XYZ, and today is Friday. I like Shashamali. What made me like him was when he played a song, say Mata. I don't know, Mata Fui, Mata Tush, and so on. That song went viral. I don't know. Peter, how old were you when that man played the song, Shashamali? Oh. Mata. You know that song?
Yes, I know you like it. Oh, I like it. It's good.
Were you born at that time?
Oh, why not? Yes. Okay. But I was a small boy somewhere, I'm sure.
Okay. Yesterday, Abna was asking me if I can remember how my peers were able to influence me to do bad things. Today we spoke to 2 juveniles, or maybe young men, who were rescued by the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative. And one said he went to steal a television set from the auntie's room. So as he was walking away with the flat screen, something fell. He was caught and jailed for I think 1 year. He spent 8 months and has been rescued under the petty offences scheme, where this organization is going around begging that we should look at it. Were you influenced when you were young?
Oh, yes.
And I remember one thing you did.
Oh, yes. I remember, my... Hey, Eric, you are bringing matter.
Okay, it's okay. Peter Nkuma, you are welcome.
Thank you, my brother.
He's a deputy editor of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. I wonder, is also one of the members of the NDC's National Communications Bureau, Apart from that, tell me a little about yourself.
I'm a development analyst.
A development analyst.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
You don't like NDC?
Oh, why not? You have just mentioned NDC. This is an MPP man in the studio.
It's not.
You see, I refuse to be tempted. You see, I've done some checks about him. He's a good man. Oh yes.
But you refuse to be tempted.
Yeah, I refuse to be tempted.
The devil.
You see, we even have a common friend. He doesn't know. Maybe after the show, I'll drop the name.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. We have a very good common friend. He's a brother to me. He's a very good brother to you too.
Wow.
He tells me a lot of nice things about you. I say, but wonder I experienced on the television it's different. You see, sometimes politics.
We were just wrapping up on Workers' Day. This week a lot has happened.
Yeah.
Yesterday we were discussing the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Martin Amidu issued a statement. He suggested that, look, Ghana will be taking a huge risk if Parliament goes ahead to approve Xyz Morning.
Yes.
We know there's a lot happening in the energy sector. Yesterday, the Energy Commission issued a statement.
Yes.
The Energy Ministry has also issued a statement. We would like to look at that. And of course, we also know, you know many of the things that are happening. As an editor, what has
maybe Sam Jonah. Yeah.
Sam Jonah on Ghana.
Issued, yes, on Ghana and matters.
And what else?
We don't have time to discuss all these.
Okay, so now let's start with the issue around the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
Yes.
Martin Amidu is no mean a person in this country.
Yes.
I think he earned the reputation over the years.
Yes.
And he's suggesting to Ghanaians that he was investigating the Japa deal. Xyz Morning had an interest in it because, according to the statement he issued, he was defending some of the suspects, i.e., those who may have been part of the strategy to steal from the state, as he put it in the final report he put out. And in summary, he said it is a state capture agenda and Xyz Morning may not be the appropriate person. Now, I don't know how you saw it. We did this conversation yesterday and obviously it's still trending. Peter.
Yes, good morning. I largely agree with my brother on the May Day thing. But on the Xyz
Morning
and the Martin Amidu matter, I wasn't surprised that Martin Amidu issued such an epistle on him. You see, it is an opinion, okay, by Martin Amidu on Xyz Morning. I was wondering, Martin Amidu, you had opportunity to do a good or a job for the country. You decided that for some reasons you were going to resign and you resigned. Okay? Another person has been appointed. I would have wished that you allow the very person to at least have some space or an opportunity to work for us to see whether he will be able to do the work or not. In any case, he will appear in Parliament to be vetted, and some of his views and his position and all those things will be looked at. Okay, I don't have a problem when Martin Amidu, when you have issues with Xyz Morning on some of the controversial issues where his opinions on some of the matters are known. I don't have a problem with that, and you can state it, you can argue with him. I have a personal issue with his position on the Galamsey and other things. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with having an opinion about his open statement or comments.
Is it an opinion or caution to the state?
It is not. In fact, he even indicts him and even calls him names, which is bad. Okay, you can. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that you can have an opinion on him, that because his known comment on A, B, C, D. Okay, you think otherwise, that's fine. Okay, but for you to extend it and call him an agent or surrogate of people, and the fact that he's a classmate of other people, you doubt whether he can work and all those things, it's quite problematic. Because he had classmates, okay, but he was given an opportunity and he decided not to take part. That's a different thing. Okay, the same person that he talked about, that having done many other things, and so don't qualify or having been involved in the Japan or all world matters. There's a former Attorney General, an NDC MP, Dominic Ayene, okay, who has also endorsed him. In fact, he granted an interview with City FM where he said...
When was that?
Oh, the Wednesday or so.
Okay.
Okay, but I have the statement here. When he granted an interview with City FM, and he said that the Special Prosecutor nominee, Kisi Ajibeng, has received a vote of confidence from the Attorney General and the Minister, former Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayene. And his comment, I want to quote him to be specific. He says that we worked together cumulatively for 5 years before he set up his law firm. Okay? I have had several conversations with him, in this case, Kisi Ajibeng, regarding criminal prosecution. And I know that if something is against his conscience and his personal judgment, he will not do it. Final point on this. I think Kisi Ajibeng should be looked at on his own experience as a legal practitioner and as a law lecturer. Those are the two things we need to take into consideration, into account in judging him. Okay, his track record as a defense attorney is fantastic. This is Dominic Ayene on Kisi Ajibeng. We need to take that into account. In terms of the criminal law area, I think he's miles ahead of Martin Amidu. This is Dominic Ayene. Okay, he comes with a lot of experience in criminal matters. He added.
So what is the import, so that I can move on to Wanda for
the import is that
comment.
In terms of competence, okay, in terms of credibility, even an NDC member of parliament, which naturally would have had an issue with an MPP and appointee, is saying that he is up there. Apart from that, okay, Martin Amidu was given the opportunity
and to land on this so that I can come to Wanda.
Per the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017 Act, Office of Special Prosecutor Act, okay, Act 207, Act 959, okay, there are objectives which talks about criminal investigations and all those things that Dominic Ayene.
What qualifies somebody to occupy that seat?
Very well. No, yeah, it talks about the person must be a lawyer, must have criminal, blah 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 blah. In this case, he even have an addition, which is an experience in the cyber aspects.
Investigations,
which would be to his advantage. He will appear in parliament.
I'll come back to you.
Oh, final point.
Okay.
So that, you've given him a lot of time to talk about
that. One was Workers' Day.
Because I was late.
You know, today for some you are late, but let me inform you, we are closing at 8:30. So we started early.
Okay, so that we can have time. Final point. The Act, per Section 3, talks about certain things that Martin Amidu couldn't do. But I think that because Kisi Ajibeng, with what I have heard about him, will do, and in that case we'll be able to expose him, and so he needed to throw this salvo so that at least to muddy what is to be expected. The Section 3 says that the office, in this case the Special Prosecutor's Office, shall on a half yearly basis publish the following information in at least 2 daily newspapers or national circulation, and on the website of the office. 1. The list of corruption cases investigated and prosecuted by the office. And then 2. The number of acquittals, convictions, and cases pending in respect of the cases prosecuted under paragraph A and value of proceeds recovered, if any. Check the website. When Matabidu was there.
I will ask a rhetorical question. I will maybe take it to him, but you think about it and respond to it appropriately. What has all this got to do with somebody flagging the appointment of somebody that there is somebody who was acting as a defense lawyer for people I have indicted in my assessment of a deal, and for that reason be careful about his appointment.
First and foremost,
you stay. I've provoked you, but let him speak.
Peter.
Yes, my brother.
You can have your document. You know, I think they're mixing up the issues. Martin Amidu's comment has no attack on the professional conduct of Kisi Ejaben. Not any of the lines in Amidu's write-up attack his professional conduct or professional, standing or being a lawyer.
How do you juxtapose that with Ayenene's comments?
I'm going to get there.
From the experience he has and knowing him, this man will act based on his conscience.
No, I'm going to get there. The Ayenene's view of Kisi cannot be all the entire view of Kisi. He said he's worked with him for 5 years. Kisi is over 50-something years, if I'm not mistaken. And for having worked with somebody for 5 years and others who have known him longer than that, certainly the views cannot be the same. That's one. Number two, I still insist that Amidu did not attack his professional conduct or professionalism or the capacity to handle the office. Amidu only alerted us to the fact that the precedents, there are issues under the table that were being investigated. Issues which the public is not aware, because in Amidu's earlier write-up on the Japan scandal and how the president was involved and everybody and all that, it was a cook deal and to go to parliament for vetting. And Amidu, having been privy to the information or the information of his link to a Japan, the PDS or whatever scandals that have happened in the past, that Martin Amidu, as special prosecutor then was investigating, decided to alert the public. I mean, what's wrong about this? I don't think there's anything wrong. Yes, Ayenene's said that if it's against his conscience and all that, he won't do it and all that. But he didn't talk about if it has to do with the family and friends. It's from the president. And Ejaben has never been in this situation, has never been appointed as special prosecutor. And so the environment within which he's going to work is not known to him. He said it's an entirely new and an uncharted course that Kisi is going to, or the special prosecutor elect is going to. Amidu also asked, why the rush? Because the letter he wrote was supposed to be a confidential document and a recommendation to the president. The Attorney General is not mandated in any way, form of shape to appoint a special prosecutor. You can only make a recommendation, which recommendation can only be given to the president. His question was that why the need and the rush to leak such a letter coming from a member of cabinet to the presidency of the republic? Why the need to leak the letter to the media? And then he insisted that this was the grand scheme and an agenda to paint the guy in a certain light so he can go to vetting. Are this not public record?
What about those who also, maybe land with number two.
Number two, in Amidu's whole write-up about Kisi, and to go on the tangent that he won't do anything against his conscience and all that and all that and all that. This is a man who was defending corrupt individuals, excuse me to say, in the Japan scandal, and he was their defense attorney. Now this case is on the table for discussion. Anything is coming to you as the boss now to take a decision on the matter. I know people will make the argument that the special prosecutor is not the only one in the office and all that and all that, but we have seen how bosses like the PPA scandal have influenced transactions that were in the process that were deemed to have been or to be taken by a certain group of people. One man vetoed it. We know. And all that. So it's not as if.
So what about those who harbor the school of thought that Martin Amidu cannot be the standard we want to use to measure any conversation in the public space?
I agree entirely. He is not. He won't be. I don't think he's attempting to be. He owes it as a responsibility to this country as a citizen. Like their own president said some time ago, that we should be citizens and not spectators, to alert the public. How would it look like if years after or months after we discovered that the Jabin was involved in the Japan scandal and nobody knew of it, and it got to a stage where everybody now have to blame Martin Amidu for he still has with Japan. I agree that Japan is not the only thing to be investigated under the office of the special prosecutor. But what is wrong about alerting us?
Martin Amidu didn't attack Kisi Jabin. Okay.
I didn't say he didn't attack. I said he didn't attack his professional conduct and qualification.
But if somebody don't qualify, and you are saying that the person is going to be a surrogate, an agent of somebody, and so
which he is already.
See, you're not being fair to the person. In any case, his involvement with Ejapa, Kisi Ajami will be vetted. And so some of these things will be asked. Remember, Mata Amidu wasn't the first person who raised the issue. Okay?
Brad Simon
had done that. And so, and even said that they were going to petition Parliament. Yeah. And so the opportunity will be provided for him to whether confirm or deny his involvement with Ajapa. In any case, Ajapa is not a criminal thing that when one is associated with should be considered as an evil person.
Have you taken your time to go through all the processes involved in the conceptualization of the Ajapa deal, from where it started, change of name, people involved, payments made, selections, and so on? Have you taken your time? And if it was not wrong, why would any bold government move on a certain tangent and withdraw willingly, even at a time when they had the majority in Parliament? It was a coup job for them.
No.
There was something in there questionable.
As in how? So what was questionable about it? Tell me.
Why was it withdrawn?
Sometimes such a policy and national asset, at least you need some level of consensus, okay, and some level of engagement to get people on board, because it's not going to be an MPP thing alone. It's not for the MPP alone. So some of these things, when you are doing it, you need a broader consultation. Okay, and so when some of these things are, and this is not the first time a major policy has been deferred to another date. Okay, it doesn't mean that it's criminal in nature. Okay, in any case, that's
okay.
This is not the first time that a lead document has found itself in the media. Even ministers, before it was announced, who are discussing it here? You've forgotten?
At least twice.
Yes. And so, if somebody has nominated somebody, and a media house some way, somehow, gets it. In fact, it is even graphic. Who published it first? And then the SRC and others also came in. Okay? So for a media house to get a leaked document or a leaked letter to the presidency, it's not news. In any case,
but you and I also know that sometimes it can be planted to use it to test the public opinion. You and I know.
Yes. And what is wrong? What's wrong with that? Why do you find when he made his statement, he says that before his announcement, he got to know of cabinet's arrangement and cabinet decision and cabinet discussion on him. How did he find out? You were given a job you couldn't do. What the act asked you to do, you couldn't do. Publish tell me one major case that Matamidu was able to prosecute to the end. One.
Peter.
He was following Araga.
You harassed him.
Whatever.
Your government harassed him.
Okay, so 1.5 minutes. Be fair to me.
Let me be fair to you. You see, I don't know why the MPP is getting very agitated over this matter. What has Matinamidu said that Brad Simmons didn't say? That Kennedy Japan didn't say? Did you listen to Kennedy Japan's video on Kisi? Calling him a criminal, he's a thief, he only defends criminals in this country, he will resist him and all that. Did you listen to that?
Also
have you listened to
I've listened to a rebuttal which convinces me when Penkpa spoke to us that, look, you are a lawyer. Somebody
I don't have a problem
to be a criminal.
I don't have a problem.
If you are defending that person until the court has decided,
otherwise,
somebody like Kennedy Japan cannot just conclude that by defending a suspected criminal, it makes you a criminal.
So you have made my point for me. That what is so special about Martin Amidu? Is it just the hatred for Amidu that he puts out a position on the matter, a position that by Simon did, a position that Kennedy Japan did, and many other people did, and Amidu's own has become a problem. Why is it a problem? Why is the MPP agitated by Amidu's view? Is there anything we should worry about? Is Martin Amidu saying something that they know when investigations, come to bear, it would expose a certain laxity in the system or a certain lapse on the part of DC and all that? Why are they so worried?
Okay,
that's all the question we're asking.
So we are still on Morning Update, TV XYZ, Xyz TV, and I know a lot of you are following us on Facebook, YouTube. We are moving on to another topic, and it will trend for a long time because on daily basis it will be part of the national discourse, and that's Sam Jones' pistol in the form of a presentation he made via social media, I think Zoom. And Peter Nkuma says, this topic, we must continue to chew it. And so I'll throw the ball to Peter. Peter, what stands out from his presentation that is positive? And what do you think that perhaps he may have overstretched to make it look like it's worse off?
Yes, Dr. Samdona is a statesman. Okay, so for him to profess an opinion, in this case, like what he did, must be encouraged and commended. There's nothing wrong about that. Okay, but there's a big difference between an opinion and the truth or the fact. Okay, and when you give an opinion on national issues, you should have a heart, okay, to also take the response or what people will critique in terms of the views that you've expressed. I don't support insult and name calling and bringing other things that are unrelated. Okay, so he gave an opinion, which is good, not two ways about it. But his opinion is subject to critique and interpretation. Is that okay? Now, he made some points that were good, okay, especially with the economy and the debt portfolio, debt ratio and other things, okay, and how far we've come as a nation, okay, which is good. And to some extent, he even indicted himself. That because when you read it, he talks about okay. He was given an opportunity. He had opportunity to change, especially in the mining area, okay. And what he did, I don't want to go into it in detail, but whatever it is, he talks about and so it's more like all of us, at least from the Fourth Republic. And I think that he should have stuck to his best area.
So where did he go wrong?
Where he went wrong and where I disagree with him, and to some extent I would say is dishonest, okay, is one. He stated that he had issues with our educational system and mentioned the fact that the NDC decision to change the polytechnics into the universities, technical universities, he said that decision didn't make sense. Okay, and I find that problematic because I'm not a member of NDC. I'm not an admirer of the party. Okay, but it is one of the best policies that the NDC implemented, which I will support any day, anywhere. The idea of changing the polytechnics into the universities. Why? The polytechnics, they were doing other general arts and other things, in addition to the technical thing that they were offering. Okay, so you can criticize it, but okay, we should be focused to make it. If you are saying that it is it is vocational and technical.
Because at that time the certification was higher. Is it HND?
HND, look,
high national.
At that time, with HND, you're not even allowed to continue. Sometimes some of the institutions will ask you to start from level 100.
So that's one.
And so that one was a solid policy. In any case, most of these polytechnic 10 universities are technical based. Technical university is there, Takrady, and many others. Okay, so for you to help from some institutions, some agencies, and others, okay, and therefore take money from them as a result and come and argue for those people, and it's because we don't have a lobbying system that for him we should have instituted, okay, to help they do not have knowledge in some areas. They go and take some briefing from some people, and in the end take money from them because they are giving transport and other things. It's all here, okay. So for him, when one is briefed and you are giving money to come and argue those cases in Parliament, to him, bargain is somehow corruption, and so we should find a way of getting a lobbying act or something to become part of our discourse. Or
are you not taking him out of context?
No.
He cites an example to back the need or the national call, because this conversation has come on several times.
No.
I don't think corruption is only limited to taking cash.
No.
If you're an MP,
yes,
and your conscience tells you that what you are voting or what you are being whipped to do will not sync with what will be in the public interest, that's a form of corruption.
No, let me quote what he said. I have his statement here. Few years ago, a prominent member of parliament said publicly that parliamentarians take bribes. Did he say parliamentarians take bribes? He said some MPs will go so today, if somebody from, say, some donor's office should come out to say that, oh, an investor or from some donor's office has gone to take bribe, am I right to say that then investors or people from some donor's office are all corrupt? That will be stretching the argument to a certain some absurdity. Okay, and he goes on to say that he said that parliament take bribes to pass bills that favor their sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, if a fish comes out from water to tell us that the crocodile has one eye, who are we to doubt it?
Okay, so
you see, you are not being fair to parliament. My final point, then you can.
Yeah, because don't forget, we'll talk about energy as he suggested in our discussion mood.
He also mentioned the fact that none of the corruption cases have been conclusively dealt with in this country, at least in the Fourth Republic. That is a lie. It's not true. And he's saying that none of the major corruption cases in this country, at least in the Fourth Republic, has never been dealt with conclusively. He's not being honest with that because, one, the Ford matter, it was a major issue in this country that a sitting president has gone to take bribe. It's a major corruption scandal. But remember, it was taken to charge. And
in fact, I've made enemies for myself, saying publicly that I respect and I honor the old man, President Kufuor, for his style and approach of politics. But I think that at this point, President Kufuor should maintain a certain state posture, statesman posture, and not a partisan posture on national discourse. It will hurt us bad because we don't have any outgone president, alive now. So his view is going to be basically the political Bible, and we need him to be as objective as possible, delineate himself from political, talk, and then also be very fair. President Kufuor cannot convince anybody in Ghana today that many of the things, about 90% of the things that Sam Jonas said, are public knowledge.
Yes, that's true.
He knows. President Kufuor knows. The things that Sam Jonas, he himself referred to Sam Jonas as a senior citizen and all that. Sam Jonas has been involved in our economic discourse and social discourse for many years. Who doesn't know Sam Jonas? Unless you are so young a man. The two young men that we knew those days that were, having arrived and business-wise, were Sam Jonas and the other one, the SDV man was Antrak.
Yes.
What's his name? I want to get his name.
Azuma Banda.
Azuma Banda. These were the two main business moguls growing up in our time we knew as people we could look up to. I, in particular, I used to walk by just Azuma, admire and move on.
And smell some food.
Nice smell some good aura and move on. So these are not people who are going to lie to us because of political convenience. That can be. Sam Jonas' comments range from mining. He talked about mining. And now they want to attack him on mining. But what is Sam Jonas' crime in mining? Because he used to be the owner of Ashanti Goldfields and he didn't work out and all that. Sam Jonas' Ashanti Goldfields largely suffered because of President Kufuor himself's import of Newmont into this country. When he brought in Newmont into this country, he gave them unaccounted number of years of tax relief. And the competition became very difficult for Anglo-Gold Ashanti because one other company is in this country mining and paying no tax. What happened? After Newmont had finished mining gold and everything, they have run out of this country. They have left Ghana. Newmont has left Ghana. And these were things Sam Jonas raised in the days. And it accounted for one of the reasons why Ashanti gold went down. Today, we have somebody telling us that Sam Jonas didn't manage the gold sector that much. Really? From say about 1980 something, all the way to the time President Kufuor took over and brought in Newmont, Ashanti Goldfields were one of the companies that have supported this economy on all fronts.
Going forward.
Now he talked about education, Why I couldn't agree with him on that one, not because it affected my party, because the research that went into getting the polytechnics being transmogrified into a university was loud and clear. I mean, and that's why not all of them went on board at the time. I think only 6 of them qualified. Later, the others qualified. They had to provide infrastructure. President John Dramani Mahama did a good job in upgrading them.
But he said that there's no logic in it.
Yeah, well, that's his opinion, and I cannot fault him for saying there's no logic. I'm saying that there's a lot of research that showed that should done. Even in Germany, that we copied the so-called polytechnic system from, they are still universities. In Germany, they are not called just polytechnic.
No, but maybe going into the details of the concern he has raised could be that, yes, on the face value, it is a university, but when you go in there, they may not have everything.
I also have
to actually train the students.
Not even that. Not
as people with technical university certificates who can actually drive the economy with their expertise.
Senior, not even that. No, I'm not going to that. What I am worried about is that our polytechnics, well, the polytechnic universities as we have them now, have deviated from the core job of technical courses, related courses, technical and IT related courses. Many of them are doing hotel management and business administration, human resource and all that. I have always had issues with that. I don't think that's the way to go. I'm looking for a leader who is going to be bold enough and crack the whip and get all those courses out of the... But it's because those courses are fetching the university so much money. Go to the arts department. Those doing the art courses are always bigger and larger than those doing the technical courses in the sciences and all that. And that's a lacuna we have all had, with the system. So really, it's not the naming or the changing or the status upgrade that is the problem. But I also believe that the programs that are run there, government should put a feet on it. And I think that it is time that we'll actually, if government want to run this project very well, take back the polytechnics and run your project. If you leave it in the hands of these councils and vice chancellors and all that, one of the things they do is that they are looking for profits. They want to be a profitable institution, and so they lose the focus and the drive for which the government has set them up. The man talked about even after. He said after, for instance, Ghana wasn't ready. We were ready. It's true. When we signed on to the AFTA project and they were supposed to bring the headquarters here up to now, tell me one project that has been achieved in that sector. Zero.
But they just started.
Started
means the headquarters just...
They didn't just bring it. There were discussions on the table long before this happened. The actualization of bringing it here was an afterthought of about after 3-4 years of work. And he's saying that all institutions, all countries were asked to come up to a certain level, just like the ECO, they're using the common currency. We're all supposed to be in single digit inflation, keep employment at a certain level, GDP growth at a certain level, but almost all the countries in it always fails. And the President Mose in 2013 we actually qualified to be in. But no other country was qualified. Nigeria wasn't ready, and the other countries in the sub-region were not ready for it. And so we did not get to that. The man talked about the culture of silence, and that's where the NPP is so agitated. Is the President Kufuor telling me today?
So you will land on that.
I may land on something else. Is President Kufuor telling me that he's not aware? Okay, he's not aware that there are challenges within the system over the overbearing nature of government and how government want to crack the whip on everybody, including headmasters who somewhat disagree with the government position on free SH. They were sacked. There are people where the invasion of parliament, for instance, the man talked about it. Is President Kufuor saying he didn't watch TV, he didn't see the military invade parliament. The invasion of parliament, sometimes we take it as a light issue.
In the national,
but it's a very difficult issue. So I don't think that
I will spend the next few minutes. We have just 10 minutes to wrap up.
Yes.
And so I'll spend the next few minutes looking at the energy sector because the two of you proposed it.
Yeah.
But I want to do a few text messages so that when I come to you, I'll just give you maybe 3 minutes. Take whatever you want to talk about.
Yes, but it is important that I also mention that he is disagreeing with Sam Jonah. But when President Kufuor says that he also disagrees with Sam Jonah, you are saying it is wrong. Yes, of course.
What proof? That's President Kufuor. Between President Kufuor and Sam Jonah, who is in a better position to know the truth.
But if you are accusing somebody,
okay, say one thing, mention one thing. Sam Jonah said
what he is saying that requires you cannot assume for President Kufuor because you say the man has earned your admiration.
My prelude to that comment was that he should take off the political hat. We know,
but you are wearing what hat?
We know he was president on the ticket of the NPP. But he should assume a statesman nature because right now we don't even have a divergent opinion.
Does it make sense when he says that a lot of people admire President Kufuor, but where he must speak the truth and forget about his commentary likely to damage MPP's reputation will damage President Kufuor's reputation because people admire him. Does it make sense?
It doesn't make sense for me.
Okay.
Look, but even former President Rollins, he should check what Rollins said about
the NDC.
Dr. Samdona.
Okay.
No, NDC.
All right.
Rollins said that Dr. Samdona is known to be greedy and treacherous.
Okay, so that's enough. Mukaila Jones.
Let me send it to you.
Mukaila Jones says, "Oh, I salute and applaud Nana Agrades gods for their humanity throughout transporting them back to their own Akakpo village." I'll read them quickly. Then we from East Legon. It's always been there. I was once told that not everyone lives at the expense of the state funds. So those who should not compete. So those who do should not compete with those who don't, or dismiss their expressions or frustrations about the better do to deserve Ghana. NPP government should not. What goes around surely comes around. The message is not very clear, smooth enough to read. This one says Dumso is as worse than ever under the MPP government, but these inward-looking people have refused to accept it. We have 5 minutes left. Wonder, you propose the energy sector. 2 minutes. I won't compromise. Say whatever you want to say.
Well, I think that
this is.
I tell you.
All this discourse, has had to do with the flip-flops of government on the position of our energy crisis. I know he suffers from power outage every now and then. He won't say it publicly, and many of them won't say it publicly. But the truth is only one.
Wonder.
If there is crisis, say there is crisis.
The Energy Commission is denying with the minority. No. The Energy Ministry has also issued a statement.
The Energy Commission,
it is not a crisis.
The Energy Commission actually embarrassed themselves when Jinapo decided to respond. Jinapo's comment on the Energy Commission was that one, their budget has been cut off, virtually about half. They denied, went on the frolic of their own. Hey, it's not true, it's not true. But the young man, John Jinapo, has pulled out a document proving how much they have submitted to the Energy Ministry and what has approved. They actually budgeted about $60-something million. Government gave them 13 million. So the rush to go and quickly do a press conference or a press release to damage an opposition party fell flat on their face. Now the president goes to Canada and says that he inherited a debt burden in the energy sector alone of $5.2 billion without any proof. However, during the transition period, when all the documents were looked at, both parties agreed that the total debt on our books was 2.4 billion. And even that one, it was within that period the NDC introduced what we call the ESLA levy, which is the Energy Sector Levy Act in 2015. And the agreement was that we pay $600 million in the first year of the next government, which is in 20. Oh, they didn't pay that money. Today they owe $162 million. The IPPs, the independent power producer, they owe them about $1 billion, and Gridco they owe them 171, and then many other institutions of state. For instance, are you aware that under the MPP, the ESLA levy, which we instituted, which was to take a certain period, had monies inside. Today, there's no money in it. They've actually extended the period for which the ESLA levy should have taken cover. And yet the monies are spent. Even Heritage Fund, they have touched it by taking the money out of that place, saying that they are doing 3 years later. So we have a problem.
You know something? The energy sector debate, it means now like you don't write paper. Because it gets
No, it's not about that. Next Friday.
I'll beg my producers.
No problem. Let's do energy.
You will come because the Apple.
Let's do energy.
Which Apple?
Because the line.
Yes, 2 minutes. Yes, but I'll take some of my time to do something. You know, on Dr. Samdona. Why is my time? He says something in his first paragraph. He says that the first time I spoke at a Rotary club function, sometime in the 90s, my speech got me into a lot of trouble with the then president of our country, who was in government, the NDC 1 and 2.
Sitting president.
Okay? They have big issues with Dr. Samdona. Okay? And so when today he talks about people who haven't died during elections and nothing has been done about it, when in parliament, sitting MPs have petitioned the speaker that there should be a bipartisan committee to look into it, and he's now aware. We shouldn't draw his attention to it.
1 minute.
Oh, so soon. No.
Yes, 1 minute gone.
On Dumso, we've done this debate here before.
We have a commission.
You can have all manner of issues as to why Dumso happens. Yes, there are issues. I agree. Now, nobody can say that we are not experiencing some form of Dumso. But I am saying that there wouldn't be any government where we won't experience Dumso.
Okay.
So the difference is that under NDC, led by President John Dramani Mahama, the period was too long. 4 good years.
I'm happy you said there are issues.
There are issues.
But the time
you
is
cannot
up.
compare that to 4 years.
So before I go, I just received this from the. It's a resolution by the Accra branch of the Public Services Workers Union, and the gentleman who said they enjoyed the conversation on Workers' Day and worker productivity. And it says the Accra branch of the Public Services Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress, made up of 60 member organizations with over 12,000 members. It goes on. And here are some of the resolutions that they have put out for government. It says fast track and conclude negotiations on the minimum wage by 28th May 2021. Ensure the determination of realistic and enhanced increment in the minimum wage and base pay relative to previous trends. Ensure that concluded rates for the minimum wage and base pay for the pay 2021 is paid effective 1st January 2021 with all arrears paid to workers. So in a nutshell, it looks like they are just asking for money. On behalf of Peter Nkoma, Daily Dispatch newspaper. Peter, don't worry.
But today you have not been fair to me. Even at 2 minutes, you didn't allow me to.
Peter, don't worry. Let's go and debate outside. And then Wanda is also well known. And on behalf of Abena and everybody, for the week newspaper review team, we are saying thank you. Abena will come again and stay with you for the next 30 minutes. It's packed with some conversation that you will enjoy for a man or a woman, and then entertainment with JKD.
Welcome to AutoCheck Vehicle Diagnostic and Licensing Center.
I hear my car can be checked here without going to so many Accra.
Sure.
Check, auto checks. Check, auto checks. Check.
Emission, check.
Check, auto checks.
Alignment, check.
Auto checks.
Brakes, check. Visit AutoChecks at Koforodia Aquadum Road for the roadworthiness of your vehicle, from saloon cars to heavy-duty industrial vehicles. Madam, your car is now ready for the road.
Thank you so much.
Auto checks.
Auto checks. Check.
AutoChecks, your safety, our priority.
Check, auto checks.
I go do to you tonight. If I shine around for me, yeah. Oh baby, you're bad, no more trouble, now if you say you want me, you're not ready to now. Say, oh baby, you're bad, no more trouble, now if you say you want me, you're not ready to now. Say, oh, can't you, Catch your baby.
Morning. Welcome back. It's been a minute, yeah? So this is still the morning update on TV XYZ. Today, a little switch. I told you earlier on that I do have a solution to a few problems that I indicated earlier. And in the studio to help me discuss that or give you that solution, is Dr. Lawson Menu. He is the CEO for Lawson Herbal Center. Intisende, Bibi, how? Usisi, Ujonkus, and how? My bro solution. Doctor, good morning. Me passion na mpomo to say. But you bet me ama oneso kakra mami.
I'm a massive.
And I hope say Udru baby I critical na.
Pick ni juru ha no abeba.
Pick ni juru but I am no omonte you know. You started pick ni e wa ha ya ana. Doctor Mr. Lawson Herbal a day important and amoye.
Okay. That's it. For Dr. Lawson, CEO of Lawson Herbal Center. And I'm not anything. And no, I am in San and a wood jason. Your Lawson Herbal Michelle, you can't Lawson Herbal Michelle, nature when I'm your draw her, a Ghana ha, and ne. You are say, baby, or magic eyed atum. Your delay man captures, a bun a dinner in Hunamancasa essay. Intuiti a bunny dinner crana and car, impu air is thinking here and Chimu beam. Because the layman capsules no say only say a drona a dream be a person a drono a and a dream dear be a person would a dream be a bit me the aye waiting a delay amoni etinianchi and your law care mixture ye dra me Dr. Lawson the bear just Ghana for a manum never any dinner a man the amam efa law care mixture the donor friend the virgin doctor Doctor, L.O.K. Misha. It's a million years, I am to the Samia, and 10% to my teacher Kakra. Now I have 4 and yet here for so, you and my pa, a bray, or body, me Dr. Lawson, the Ama Ghana form. Until the mother's of epic and number, there would be a Ulinia Lawson, have by me product, maybe I had up to. Number no, 0242 133 577. 0242 133 577. You can Lawson Herbal Mixture or him. Ghana Hayana me o. The classic who said Ghana Hano. You near Yidino. Do na kwa starch. You can starch ye bian ye hadi banche, emu, ebu, bayre. Nina ye starch in yani. And a starch ye bian be a woodless a cha who say that biano yaria. Wintimi entry wumfewa e dey obetimi anya be stroke ubenya diabetes ubenya hypertension because start here dey bia the end product glucose dey sugar yeah it obetimi cause Dr. Lawson me call hospital doctor no manu aduro na man but akoma yaren enkoda obi dey dose 5 good years hypertension as well as you on your man Lawson Mesa just 5-10 bottles 5 bottles obenwa obenyo obekọ check up no na ni na ekọ so obitimba doctor madam Johnson sa akopim sa de bekin na me na se hyehye obi kotodu etime hono na achia so ebasa hu se wo sa ni panom o cholesterol level e wo so o tedi di amajo o pesrade nam o sugar level e wo so o tedi even starch ni yane eto ekobasa na maka acho se maami e papai so wan pe Lawson me chene bi anu na so ye hwehan ya yare ebekum.
Doctor, say no me draw na say sign could discharge na yare ni say person ya ba start ni ben sa na wo hwe one eniane de ke o time ke be hwe blood groups no blood group bia we biane a wo so udie but start ni ansan say me no mi ntimi nya die nti den o say ye ye dia o say ye ya bu ye ho ban okay ye dia o say ye bo ban nsi anu etu ntimi nya die no udi a o say no hu say wo ba no Lawson Herbal Mixture because you dear FN Coco Aman. Coco Aman, you get the Union said, or body and I said that a Yama Ghana for because Yako Pokran said Ghana for you discharge the other papa. It's Coco Amano, Ghana Hankwan Coco Aman be Biwa. It's a one a Jupiter Lawson Misha Coco Aman Bium. That's a one Lawson Mishana, a mamma na do so wuntinimo. Those a day or yow.
severe pains at the brown koko amana wala also mission na yefro
so bia timinum bi
obia if 12 years ekopun abroa na kokora wato de obia timinum bi wonum la also mission na yaw na mama na wo ka se odom penimu no la also mission yefri ho wani ota posa akoye koko untimi hunu hwe ese bibi da wani ne so abia ba na hyesom amama yo ebetima mo ani efra wonum la also mission no na I clear Lord say Mr. Aye dread and any moja and any blood and any clot. A 2 year about 2 days night trap, 3 days night trap, maybe be 19 until you what said ba Miss Row body or die. A better me kum, a better more sissy at chia, a better more sissy much show. But Lord say have Misha, obedient 5 kilos. One Lord say Mr. just 1 bottle, none 5 not a nanny. Kope na ton Miss Row, me the number etuja. Dr. Lawson, Miss Ghana for said, Lawson Miss Media Bedrasua, and ne the Wabu Democrat went to me 10 but our solly. Do get up Metimino 5 bottles, no, I thought the Puma coming. Do a sword man of Hunam Popo, 1 bottle net call. The Koto Grahunachia, the Mintum Etricanum, the Anasia Tata, when your diabetes, etc. Alien, 1 10 bottles on that chronom. So you're gonna miss a wood teaming and I'm on it. Abuchefo hu so mutedi dia na dwon etina lose meeting se ekobani eto ga na sesebio misrekam edoro wo aboboa no ekro na wotim no herbal shop ho pharmacy shop ho Mr. Okonokop edra Dr. Lose dia be dwaso aye honam ye waduro se fever jaundice malaria na hawa wono to aba akop ekọ Mr. Baby, do number me the barber to the amount. Pick a number na film se sia. So on crodium ha. Mr. Okashi drag le ho. Wokwa store bia ya to petrol nya bi ho. Wo voter region. Boma da baby obi ana ashama Ecos Pharmacy ubenya bi ho. Me number na 0242 133 577 0242 133 577. Quickly about local mission.
Before I break on, Mr. Unse Obi Ohio did not to a droso, hospital a droso. Obisa no to me, Unse a drop Ohio can say, and fat a baby drone far abroad for drone.
And a correct. So, or doctor no Shona catches a man will be drew dear, period, man come. But I dare back on a say, so, oh, real woman. Let's say, be a new doctor, na catch or say, be any passmas, my meals man maybe do a dear. A drop be a woman be a bit man who I can name difference. So when I been my 3 hours and 2 hours, no one we. So above no na been my 2 hours, 3 no one because all the herbal medicine efficacy na no sick. It won't know the fire above drona. It should so a more at the Unanasa. When the batter above drona so. It a 10 beyond the iron percent more than at the eye afra. It may say a chief one I for said. In chair drop be our nom. Mom said about was a loss in mission. I have very powerful tenom. So when I drop be our own piano, share the wood debate me abwan also at media. I have a law care mixer. And a law care mission until the man of the almost a crock roaming. Ah! My fellow care mission, maybe I say, and come and you da. And then the Piabontra, a man who saw me so, and a virgin doctor, and a Dr. Lawson, law care mission, say a man lawyer, hey, would your banner would see me. Let's a baby to condemn. Share our national, your book was here. Share also a baby was also no water bar. Tuntum, Coco, Essay, or correlationship with be any book was here. Well, baby, our more than 20 years. We not check the that. That was a bassa. Local Messiah, a man lawyer. Local Mr. Baby was some amount. So per car safwa, or per so be car king or the chow. We be see a fear the chow. We be told to edit chow, Miss Row. Quaper law can be a chair, quite maybe only just 5 bottles. One year, hey, why a virgin? Ube look sexy, hey, we need pediana by a fat, we need pediana by a corner, we need pediana be a phone be our own law care, Miss Abessish. So, Poque now for here, oh, your balloon for Nafua. Per law care, on 5 bottles. And now the upper crana or baby on the Cassian Sipenum. Said the new crucipe. It was starting as a own number. Nicasian could you pensua, Berman Cassan and Nibadi Hona, Ahu come on, no janum. Sabio infection, I'm out to a four. No law care, Miss up. Now, Sabio, what on I come up. Now, shape we, I corner now, why if a come up. A law care, Miss Jumayanum. So I Bama infection, I must say, will bear my phone. Will you pay Biana Quani be a phone? No law care, Miss Enemy. One man, now if it be a come up. A young pensua who can in the power. No law care, and law care, Miss Ekunkuda. say so stomach ulcer say diabetes kro enkuda bi a was he we be kura de honam ya pa severe pains no care me say the dwuma no ya fa number no tuja e ma doctor virgin doctor e ma no ma ready o person o peke me number no enti quickly e number ne fa tuja ma e atiefo ne ayefo me pa doctor loss me number na me tuja amama number ay 0242 133 577 0242 133 577 wo ya ba na be ma na wase keka be ma hyehyɛ ujo so amogya ne ade o ma pelo ka me se eno ne adra e ma lawyer obedi wasema ma na why virgin no look very sexy ya he delay man captions
and the pastor wait 1 minute
just 1 minute
just 1 minute
can hear me time go me so time na so delay man captions e ma duru be ma nko ani tim delay man captions me hwa ade bi hwe be ma bi wo hono ma ho won no ho kan ni compass o sabio wo de boss wana no ho esane no be ma bi tie se 1 year ni o timi no ho kan ni esia da delay man captions e ma duru hwe ono ma ho e ma sisim ye dene e ma kotodom ye dene e ma pet ye dene because delay man captions no ye enua hira yakopon de tumi ni ahoden asem at 20 akoma we sabe krama kwati dunse kura damra asase am se no mu nyina ye no bi eye adwuma woni pentim edro bi obano bi eye adwuma woni pentim bi aboa emema ye mema yo etu ye be mena se utie mesro papa utie me anwenwere basa because stress ebetimi akum stress betimi amoa potam so free sound no ho kan ni shikope obe obra me prekope aye dra me Dr. Loss me dia bedwa so a ma to peti Ghana fana ba bia ewiase fana ba bi edo ni di ye delay man castles eno na ya na wo ye be mana se ono ma e ma no bojo so no ma se omana ne se miwura me da se delay man castles na wo on kan je se miwura me da se e wo so bo ma da fa me na ba e tuja e dia mam ba bia wo bia drugstore bia be wo bia ma to peti Ghana ba bia regions ni na sister regions ba bia be ko bia Loss me product e bi oho me number e screen no betimi apeke number quickly never number e ha se sia me de tuja e dia mam number is 0242 133 577 Dr. Loss virgin doctor am di no miensa abedwa so am pese Ghana ni bia wotie ni bia ba no bi no e na me de atuja no fe me number na ne doctor nkasa yankopon hia me de tiefo nyina ase ye dem ase
Dr. Yancy dancing. So please call the numbers he's been mentioning for any further details that you may have. See, I promised and I delivered. Speaking of promises, I did tell you that JKD will be sharing the entertainment news with you. He's right here, so stay tuned.
Peace of mind is very essential in your journey to success. For Akwesi Papa, peace of mind means having a proper covering over his family. Literally. For Araba, aka Injection Mama, it's about having the funds to complete her advanced nursing course. And as for Corporal Odami, it's as simple as reporting on time for his shifts. Sometimes all you need is a simple push. At Needs Microfinance, we have tailor-made loan packages for salaried workers under the Controller General's Department. With the low interest rate and quick wahala-free process, you are guaranteed Needs Microfinance. Growing with you.
No, I can't even on my studio Hanum say. These days he's been moving. Careful you don't break, eh? JKD is in the studio this morning, and from the reaction or his actions, I think he has good news for us. So what's up? What's happening? Jay!
I was dancing to the song.
Okay, pa. Now you're off. So
hey, Charlie, you're a fine lady. So if you treat me like that, then Charlie, I understand.
Go on.
But anyways, welcome to the entertainment update on Morning Update. Yes, I'm starting off with Wendy Shea, and you were in the movie industry already, so
you are too.
Yeah. So you know about the Slay movie. On Netflix, which features Calibos and
yes. Bismarck the Joker,
and the rest. So thing here is Wendy Shea took to social media, or especially on Instagram, saying that she was watching the movie and her song "All For You" was in it. And she was like, well, producers of the movie, you didn't contact me before using my song. So you better do the right thing or else I will see you in court. It looks like people are using this court issue. People make wild.
Yeah.
Like you can't just use anybody's thing like that too. Like right now people are very, very vigilant.
Services making money from this lately.
My question here is that bill money, if they say Charlie, then bill somebody, then money where they go?
I don't have an answer. So can you move to your next story?
All right, no problem. I'm still sticking with Wendy Shea, but this time around I'm crossing overseas, talking about T-Pain. You know T-Pain, right?
Yes, I do.
The guy who always has this auto-tune kind of thing.
His
but it's not auto-tune,
right?
No, he has it.
He still has it?
No,
Are you
he
sure?
has it. Yes, he still has it. Yes.
But he's lost weight. Which is which? Something about him is different from when he started.
Yes. The thing here is he's faced off a little bit. So we don't really see him
T-Pain.
that way. Yeah. But the thing here is T-Pain came out saying that he didn't know anything that has to do with DM. He didn't know how to process a DM.
Oh yeah?
Yes, a direct message on his Instagram.
Instagram, right.
Yes. So he decided to, go check it out. You know the request part where somebody's trying to request send you a message, but you're not probably not following the person, so it comes as a request. So he went there and realized that he had tons of messages and he hasn't replied yet for like 2 years, 3 years back. So amongst those messages were messages from Wendy Shea herself and Medical.
Oh yeah.
And Ghanaians were bashing and saying that but Charlie, when she pan,
what's wrong with that?
But there's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong at all.